Kathy Whalen from Nature's Daughter. I'm going to present to you a proposal for a National Symposium in Seattle in 2017. It is a wedding and sales program, and it is also has marketing overtones. In it, I'm going to use the character of Sherlock Holmes to develop my program. I'm going to actually wear Sherlock attire, including a Inverness long coat and cape to about here. I'm going to wear the deerstalker cap with the flaps that come down in the front, the peaks, and then the flaps that come up on top and are tied across there. And of course, I need my trusty magnifying glass to be a convincing Sherlock Holmes. I'm going to talk about a case of dwindling dignity. And it's a case about a woman who brings her worries and her conundrum, her threats, her fears to Sherlock Holmes for a consultation. She's frustrated and exasperated. She's exhausted and irritated by all of the requests that she's getting over the internet for pricing. And the prices are so low that people are looking for. And she finds that she has spent so many dollars going to classes, to workshops, to symposiums, traveling to this part of the country, to that part of the country, all to develop a high level of skills. And so Eliza wants to know from Sherlock how she can elevate the dignity of weddings and use her skills, because she feels that they're underutilized, that these price shoppers are driving very hard bargains for her, and she is not making a decent living. This is the conundrum that Sherlock is going to investigate. And he's going to, yes, investigate it with great care. All right. He took on the case of the dwindled dignity, and he did a lot of investigating. And I'm going to present to you the results of his research. Let's first talk about who the client is. The client is the millennium client, who is 40, 35, and under. These people are very tech savvy. They spend lots of time on the internet, probably texting an average of 50 times a day. They're people who care very much about the planet, and if you are caring about the planet, as a shop owner, as a business person, they will respect that and find that to be a connection which allures them to do business to you. They also are people who are living in a very shared environment. They will buy a vacuum cleaner with the people next door. They might buy a car with two people, all so that they can have some things that are meaningful to them, but at reasonable prices. They're going to do these things with online shopping. They'll investigate, for example, taking a trip in a Rolls Royce so that they can have a fabulous weekend at a mountain resort. And they don't care. They know how much it's going to cost. It's going to be a lot of dollars, but for them, that experience is worth it. They shop online, and they do lots of requests of prices, so that they can understand how much this is going to cost from this vendor, from this vendor, from that vendor. 3 of these, 4 of those, 14 of those, and 1 of those. It sounds like takeout, doesn't it? It sounds like, almost like, she give me 2 medium pizzas with everything and give me 1 extra large with sausage and meatballs. It sounds like 2 crunchy tacos and 3 burritos. I can almost hear them saying, on the double. Well, yes, it's important to respond to their email requests with great speed, but also with a note. Not giving them prices online when they ask for them, but rather requesting that they come in and set up an appointment with you. And you'll find what happens is that some people will self-select out of the process. I must break for a moment and tell you, I'd really like to be walking around a lot more, but I have a broken knee. And so it really prevents me from moving around the way I'd like to. So you'll just have to imagine I am, because that's my style. You're going to take a phone call message for an appointment, and the person who's going to do that, we want to have be a trained person who can pre-qualify this caller. You want them to listen for chemistry, for positive and negative energy that comes from the caller. Are they happy? Are they looking forward to beautiful flowers, or are they complaining? And you're going to use the Sherlock skills to determine if they're fussing about how this costs so much money and this other florist, they really wanted to charge me a lot of money. I'm hoping that your prices are going to be more reasonable. If you're getting that kind of chemistry feeling that, you know, this could go to an unpleasant place over a long period of time, you may decide that you're booked for that weekend or for that date, or that perhaps they might be a better fit for somebody who's around the corner. At any rate, a number of people will self-select right out of the process because they're going to find that that you're too much trouble to come for an appointment. It's just not worth their effort. They would rather be online and do their price shopping. So the consultation is going to start at the date that you have set up, and it's going to start at a location which is off-site. You do not want to meet them at your shop. You want to meet them at the location of the wedding or the ceremony, or both. And when they come in, you're going to very much be concerned about what car they came up in, what are they wearing, what kind of shoes, what kind of purse, what kind of, how do they look in general? You're going to use your Sherlock Holmes skills to figure out those kinds of details, because they're going to help you to figure out where their budget should be. When you meet on location, you're going to find that it changes totally the dynamics of the situation. No longer are you engaged in talking about money and analytical decision making. You're now talking about the wedding and romantic things. It's no longer about 6 stems of this and 10 stems of that, and how much will it be. It's no longer about take out. It's about a romantic and wonderful experience, the wedding experience. One that you, as a qualified designer, are so well qualified to provide for them. You're going to look at their inspiration pictures, and you want to look at their pictures first, and you want to ask them to explain them to you. When they do that, you hear a lot of information. You hear, well, you know, this looks like it's very expensive, or, you know, how much would something like this cost? You're going to get, are they concerned about money? How concerned are they? You're going to see them looking at each other. You're going to see them kind of wincing. You'll see their arms crossed. You'll see all kinds of body language and hear words. And those are the clues that, again, you're going to be looking at with great interest, so that you can discover, without asking, what their approximate budget is. And the way you're going to do that is to figure out what their CCL is. CCL stands for Cost Comfort Level. And that is the level that they are comfortable paying for goods and services that you would provide. Is it a high level? Is it a low level? Is it an in-between level? Your clues are going to lead you to understand where that is. And so when you're talking about her pictures, and perhaps they're beautiful pictures of low centerpieces, and one is more gorgeous than the other, but when you're in the room, she sees and you see that the ceilings are 18 or 20 feet high. Low centerpieces are going to look pretty silly in that room. It's going to look like a quarter of the room is full at the bottom and 3/4 of the room up above is empty. And so it's going to be important for you to tell them what you really think, that we ought to try to find within the budget money to do some arrangements that are tall, so that we can have high ones and low ones and high ones and low ones, and lots of rhythm in the room, filling that void space. It's going to be so much more attractive. Also, when you come in out in the hall and you find that there's a huge table in the entry, and that was where the cards for seating were going to be placed. And again, there's just the table, little low cards, and nothing above. You're going to discover, and she's going to discover, she's going to understand, wow, Something needs to be on that table that makes a big statement and welcomes guests. So on location, you have the opportunity for additional sales because they understand that the space is void and empty without it. Sitting in the shop, you're going to end up quibbling about, oh, if I spent $1 more, I could have that flower, and maybe I could have 3 more of those. It doesn't go there when you're here at the location of the reception. You're talking about the feel of beautiful things and what fills the space. You're talking about the look that you want to create or that they want to create there. Is it glitz? Is it glamour? Is it, burlap and lace, let's say? And of course, that's an opportunity to tell the couple that, I think you are the second or maybe the third person who's brought me this picture this week. And, I think I have to tell you this because I wouldn't want you to look like an ad for Pinterest or for Instagram. We can take the feel of that picture and we can make it look like something for you and who you want to be and what you want this wedding to be all about. The next thing I would do would be to show them my inspiration pictures because it's important for them to have the faith in me, the trust in me that I really can do for them beautiful things to make a wedding that fulfills their vision and their dreams. I want them to tell me how much they like them or that they don't like them at all. It's important for them to be honest with me. One of the things I never talk about with a client is budget. And I don't talk about budget because if they give me a budget, then I feel compelled to work within it. I think it's much more important for me to tell them the prices of things and to let them decide what they can afford after I've educated them to what things cost. Then they can make intelligent decisions. They may know what their friend Sarah or Camille spent on a wedding, but did their reception halls have high ceilings? Did they have as many tables? Was their taste really similar? Did they want similar flowers? Did they have as many bridesmaids? The cost will be a number that they throw out, but it's not an educated number. And so by you working with them and all the time giving quotes and adjusting up or down based on the CCL, their cost comfort level that you see them exhibiting, you will arrive at what you believe to be their comfort level in budget. Sherlock's investigations helped Eliza resolve her conundrum of restoring dignity to weddings. That she was so concerned about it that it was all so much like takeout. And she felt that the most important day in a couple's life, when they stand before all these guests that they have invited from across the country, from across the world, from near and far, who knows where, when they stand before them to join themselves together for the rest of their lives, it's important to them that they've created a beautiful setting for it. Doing takeout and short order cooked kinds of things are just not what this wonderful wedding experience is about. You have to remember that if you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got, right? To get what you never had, you must do what you never did. And that's the place where we want to arrive at, a place where we never were. And so we're going to do some things differently. I'm going to say that I'd like to draw to a close my comments now, and I'd like to read a statement to you about the theme of this symposium. We can bring out the exquisite joy that comes from excellence when we experience across the entire spectrum of what we do. We simply need to be as exceptional in selling as we are at creating extraordinary designs. There's an exciting future that lies ahead of us, and all I can say is that if it worked for me to go from $400 budgets or $400 billing to over 6 figures, it worked for me. I believe that much of this can work for you. Thank you so much.